Welcome to The Now, I'm Ashley Jenkins.
I'm John Reisinger.
If you shelled out a ton of money on a 4K TV and pre-ordered your PS4 Pro ahead of the November 10th launch, but you're still wondering like what the hell else you're supposed to play besides Shadow of Mordor and The Witness, well, you're in luck because Sony just confirmed everything you'll be able to play on day one and all the stuff that's optimized.
Yep, Sony's big list includes 30 plus games available for PS4 Pro improvements at launch, with a total of over 45 available by the end of the year. And have no fear, Knack fans, Sony's got you covered.
All of you fan?
Yeah.
We figured we'd break down the fairly lengthy list of games along with some of the types of upgrades you can expect to find when you play some of them on PS4 Pro, because they are a little bit different. They have a couple different kinds of optimizations.
Now, just be clear, before we get into the actual list, you'll still be able to play any PS4 game on PS4 Pro. It's just that there are select titles getting a PS4 Pro update that takes full advantage of the new hardware. Changes to these games range from higher resolution to better anti-aliasing or a deeper color spectrum thanks to HDR.
So, on to that launch lineup. On November 10th, gamers will have access to enhanced versions of some more notable recent titles like Battlefield 1, Infinite Warfare, and of course Modern Warfare Remastered, which is basically a separate game, but it's not, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Dishonored 2, FIFA 17, Hitman, Mafia 3, NBA 2K17, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Skyrim Special Edition, and Titanfall 2.
In terms of more legacy PS4 titles, a number of those are getting added to the mix too, like Infamous Second Son, Black Ops 3, Knack, Shadow of Mordor, The Last of Us Remastered, Ratchet Clank, Paragon, Smite, The Elder Scrolls Online, Uncharted 4, World of Tanks, and XCOM 2.
Plus a handful of VR or indie games like Bound, Firewatch, Helldivers, Drive Club VR, Battlezone, PlayStation VR Worlds, Res Infinite, Robinson the Journey, and Until Dawn Rush of Blood.
As for what else will be available in the near future, there should be another dozen or so ready for PS4 Pro by the end of the year, including Watch Dogs 2, Killing Floor 2, The Last Guardian, and Final Fantasy 15 with the likes of Neo, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, and For Honor to follow in early 2017.
Of course, there's no telling exactly how compatible these games are going to be at the moment. The range of uses for PS4 Pro is going to be kind of all over the place, especially early on as all the developers come to a consensus on what exactly they want to do. So in a way, it might be kind of tough to communicate to the average consumer all the different optimizations right now.
For some games, you're talking about better graphics, like higher textures or better anti-aliasing, for instance, and with some games, you're talking about higher resolutions or higher frame rates or a deeper color palette thanks to HDR.
And there's not really any consistency for any of the supported games. For instance, Gran Turismo Sport, coming sometime next year, is said to have pro features like 1800p checkerboard resolution, which is Sony's trick for upscaling games to 4K, and a deeper color space. Apparently, the deeper color space will allow GT Sport to be the first Gran Turismo to accurately reflect the real-world iconic red of Ferraris, which sounds like a really weird marketing point, but it is a car game, and they get really into things like the physics of tires against the road, so it's not that surprising, I guess.
Square Enix announced changes for Hitman, which include a whole new layer of detail, an increase in resolution, better reflective surfaces, reduced aliasing, and improving lighting. Meanwhile, Insomniac has said Ratchet & Clank will mostly get color improvements via HDR along with a better resolution.
Other games are handling the update differently than that. The Witness, for example, well, it's kind of confusing. It's going to have two separate modes for PS4 Pro, including one that runs at 1440p and 60 frames per second, and another one that runs at 4K but 30 frames per second.
Okay, and Rise of the Tomb Raider's Pro enhancements take a similar route with 3 separate modes for you to choose from.
That's one more mode than The Witness!
There will be a 4K mode running at 30 FPS, a 1080p mode at 60 FPS, and a 1080p 30 FPS mode that sports better graphics and visual enhancements. None of this will be confusing at all. Be fine, you'll figure it out. Yeah,
separating the improvements out into 3 categories like that might actually help cover all the graphical bases the gamers want to hit, but sadly, it's just not going to be that way in every single Pro-supported game.
And some of the other developers with confirmed titles haven't exactly been consistent or forthright about how their games will handle PS4 Pro's power. Final Fantasy 15 has been listed as getting the Pro treatment by Sony itself, but director Hajime Tabata has, as recently as 1 week ago, said the game wasn't designed with that in mind and was supposed to come out before the Pro launched, so they haven't had time to incorporate it.
Well, that sounds promising.
Yeah.
Mid-cycle hardware upgrade, certainly an unprecedented move for a console manufacturer to make. It's never happened before. So it's not too surprising that there are going to be a couple of growing pains, especially for titles that have already been out.
But going forward, it'll hopefully get less confusing with the enhancements getting more impressive over time. For one, it seems like Horizon Zero Dawn was meant to be PS4 Pro's killer showcase app, which makes sense as the game was supposed to come out this fall alongside the console.
Yeah, Guerrilla Games and Sony have both been talking up Horizon Zero Dawn on quite a bit lately, noting that it'll get improvements on both 1080p and 4K displays. For the 1080 plebeians, I guess is what we're gonna call them at this point.
Sure, that makes sense.
What, you don't have 4K? Come on. You sound like a normal human. Horizon Zero Dawn will receive better shadow maps, extra detail, and virtually no jaggies.
It's my favorite album. Meanwhile, the game is meant to shine on 4K HDR sets with a 2160p checkerboard resolution, more details in NPCs and machinery, including Alloy's outfits, and deeply enhanced colors.
With all these changes up in the air and all these buzzwords being
That's
thrown
a
at
lot
us
of buzzwords.
left and right about like what games are going to be anti-aliased or have crapastropic filtering or whatever they're going on about this time, the main test for Sony is going to be getting those improvements in front of more gamers and delivering all the information about what is updated and how it's updated in a clear way. And best of luck with that.
Fortunately for everyone who plans on buying a PS4 Pro, it seems like they're at the very least doing the legwork to make sure the console is super supported at launch with more than 30 games, which is a huge step up from the 10 or so they confirmed when it was first announced.
Yeah, another thing that I find interesting about this is the HDR. Everyone's going on about it. Yeah, the penetration on HDR headsets is like 3%. So if you have a 4K TV, you probably don't have HDR anyway. But if you do, they do some stuff, so that's great. What do you guys think of the PS4 Pro launch lineup? Are you looking forward to getting one of Sony's new consoles? And can you make heads or tails of all the different optimizations? Let us know in the comments.
For future updates on PS4 Pro, all of its games, and craptastic filtering, like this video and subscribe to the know.
Craptastic filtering. Crapastropic.
Crapastropic tinistimus. Filtering.
It's anal aliased. Why are you?